Now, the reason I just showed you guys that video of Lil Nas X performing in the gymnasium full of children and how those children looked up to him and went crazy when he was singing his hit Old Town Road was to show you the Pied Piper effect. If you don't remember the old story of the Pied Piper, it's a legend that dates back to the earliest ages, and the legend of the story is that this piper was hired by this city to lure away with his magic pipe all these rats away from the city, and he was going to be compensated for him getting rid of the rats with his magic pipe. However, after he played his magic pipe and led the rats away from the city decided not to compensate him, and in retaliation, the Pied Piper began playing his magical flute and was able to influence children with the good sounds that came out of the instrument to lure the children away from their parents, away from the city, because of his musical influence, much like Lil Nas X, much like we see these young teen artists do, lure them in and draw them away from their parents, draw them away from society, and lure them to destruction, to death, to chaos, confusion, alcoholism, drug addiction, like what we see these artists doing, and go right off in the water with the Pied Piper still playing all the way to their deaths to drown in that water. This is the same agenda Hollywood promotes. This is the same agenda the music industry promotes. It's all about the money at the end of the day, and the entertainment industry is willing to do anything in order to make more money, especially profiting off your children, because they realize that's the next generation up, and that's going to be their future moneymaker of society. So they're going to influence them young, get them thinking a certain type of way, get them indoctrinated if you're not a good parent, and then get them thinking, behaving, and acting in a way that leads to self-destruction, much like the Pied Piper. What a world we are living in, guys. There is a Twitter war going on right now between the artists Joyner and Lil Nas X. Joyner, in response to Lil Nas X's video Montero, had this to say: "I think the biggest problem for me is the fact that he don't understand Old Town Road is every kid's anthem. Children love him for that record. They tuned in and subscribed to his channels. So with no disclaimer, he dropped some left-ish and all kids seen it, shaking my head." And he's referring to the music video Montero, which I did a video on and broke down all the satanic, pagan, demonic imagery within that video, so you guys had a better understanding of the whole agenda behind him promoting that content, besides the fact that it would get us talking about it. It does have paganistic rituals in it, and his goal, much like Hollywood's goal, much like the music industry's goal, is to make money. So in order to make money, they're going to target younger audiences because they're more likely to grow up listening to that artist, liking that artist, like what we saw with Miley Cyrus and Hannah Montana and Demi Lovato, Ariana Grande. All of those were once on Disney Channel, and they catered to a younger audience. So when that younger audience grows up with them, they're going to relate to them more, they're going to buy more of their products, they're going to still be attached to that brand. And a lot of kids grew up listening to these young, innocent artists, and then these artists ended up growing up and started putting out X-rated content, and then they switched over to adult imagery, adult music, and they brought along with them those children. And a lot of those children replicated their lifestyle after those celebrities, because a lot of people are just sheep and they're going to follow the trends, they're going to follow what's cool in Hollywood and their icons growing up. So that was mainly the point that Joyner was making. But then Lil Nas X responded and said, "There was no system involved. I made the decision to create the music video. I am an adult. I am not going to spend my entire career trying to cater to your children. That is your job." And then the reply underneath I really liked said, "The system is targeting kids. Lil Nas X's fan base is mostly children. They did the same thing with Miley Cyrus after Hannah Montana." So I'll end it on this note. It is the parents' responsibility to be careful what they let their children listen to. However, I realize that growing up, your parents can only protect you for so long. A lot of times you're not even around your parents necessarily, and you will be influenced by what is promoted in the media and what artists you put out and stuff like that. So I understand both sides of the coin, and I personally believe that Lil Nas could have transitioned over into adult rated music in a different way than the way he decided to transition over so dramatically and so drastically. I understand he was trying to make a point. I understand he's trying to get trending because I understand the song is catchy, but he must realize as an artist that there are healthier ways to transition over. The music you're going to put out, what you're going to show these children, especially because you do have a young fan base and they chose you. A lot of times as an artist, you can either sell your soul, which is what he did, or you can monitor what you put out and what you promote to children. And he decided to do the latter, unfortunately. And I think there could have been a better transition, but that's just my opinion. But at the end of the day, as a parent, you must be very careful what you let your children listen to, who you let your children hang around with, what you let your children see. And it is everywhere because we have social media now. Everyone has a smartphone. There's television everywhere. There's constant entertainment. And it's up to you as the parent to sit down with your children and explain things to them. Ask them what they're learning. Ask them what they're watching. Ask them what they're hearing other kids talk about, and set them on a good and righteous path. So that's my perspective. That's my opinion. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the subject matter. Until next time, have a blessed rest of your day. I'm gone.